So, you're itching to modify your ride, huh? Sometimes as you're cruising the streets and or scrolling on social media, you see a modified car and gaze in amazement. And you think,
I would love to do that to my car.
So you start cruising the internet, scheming up ways to transform your car into a head turner and performance monster. Then you spot the price tag. And reality hits you like a ton of bricks. Car mods are expensive and can be wallet wilting. So you flirt with the budget-friendly route, conjuring up ideas to make your ride cooler, all while trying to save some coin. And then you find yourself venturing into the AutoZone aftermarket aisle.
Freeze! This is the Skidded Media Police.
Allow me to rescue you from the pitfall of turning your car into a cheap, ugly, and underperforming spectacle.
What the hell?
With these 5 car mods you should never do. I'm your host, Ricky Skids, and this is Skidded Media. Now, I get it. You want to modify your car on a budget, but trust me, being excessively thrifty can lead your car down an unsightly path. Starting off strong with number 1, plasti dipped and spray painted stock wheels. Aftermarket wheels can be a pricey affair, no doubt about it, especially if you want to get the legit ones. But please, for the love of all things cars, do not resort to spray painting or plasti dipping your stock OEM wheels. Please. This just screams cheap. And why on earth would you want your ride to look like that? I get it, you're eager to modify your car, and a can of plasti dip or spray paint costs like $5, but this isn't modifying, this is horrifying.
Oh, that's a lot of damage!
Instead, just be patient, save up and stash some cash, and get yourself some quality aftermarket wheels that'll complement your car's aesthetic. Your car will thank you. Number 2, unnecessary decals, badges, and window stickers. Unless your car is an outright race car or a beastly JDM drift machine with a sweet livery, there's no need to deck it out with decals. No racing stripes, no claw marks, no weird boomer swirls. All you're telling the world is that you're clueless about car style. And seriously, ditch those AutoZone badges. If your car didn't come with an extra V8 badge, why stick one on? I know you might have some insecurities, but what you need is therapy, not extra badges.
Oh.
And let's talk about window stickers. Unless you're driving a legit race car or a balls-to-the-wall drift machine, I don't need to know you're sipping Monster Energy drinks and rocking a basic K&N air filter. Please spare us. Number 3, cold air intakes. Okay, I understand the allure of extra power and a snazzy engine bay. Who doesn't want that? But listen up. If your car is naturally aspirated, which means it doesn't have a turbo and intercooler, a cold air intake isn't going to give you more power. In fact, it might steal some power from you.
I'll be taking that!
Why, you must ask? Well, your stock intake should be mounted in such a way where it pulls fresh air from outside of the car for combustion through the grill or a dedicated vent where the stock intake box sits. Many cold air intakes on the market suck in hot engine air from your engine bay because of where they are located. Even though they are pulling a greater volume of air, this is bad news because colder air equals more power for combustion. So if your cold air intake sucks in hot air, guess what? You're going slower, not faster. You can get an aftermarket cold air intake with its own airbox dedicated to pulling fresh outside air, but they are typically pretty pricey. There is a budget-friendly alternative though. Keep your stock airbox and grab a bigger aftermarket intake elbow, like an HPS intake elbow, that will connect to your stock intake box and to your intake manifold. Pair that with a high flowing air filter inside your stock air box, and voila, you're breathing fresh outside air while getting more airflow for combustion. Now, if your car is turbocharged and has an intercooler,
This is where it gets interesting.
the intercooler for the turbo swaps hot air for cold air before it hits the intake manifold and then eventually to the combustion chamber.
So,
If your aftermarket intake is chugging hot engine bay air, no biggie. The intercooler will swap it for cold air. This should give you more power because it's inhaling a bigger gulp of air. Number 4, straight pipe exhausts. Alright, this one's for the G35s, the 350Zs, and the V6 muscle car folks who believe their trumpet farting straight pipe exhausts sound glorious. Listen, companies like Tomei, Borla, and Mugen treat exhaust tuning like they are tuning an expensive instrument and spend so much money in R&D to develop beautifully tuned exhausts for your car.
So why on earth
Do you think your straight pipe G35 cut and booger welded together by your buddy?
would sound good?
And honestly, this applies to most naturally aspirated cars. If you straight pipe a naturally aspirated V8 or 4-banger, it's usually overkill and honestly won't sound as sweet as a tuned exhaust. And I get that exhausts are expensive and you want your car to sound good. So here's a budget-friendly tip. Keep the catalytic converter and have an exhaust shop remove the mufflers and resonator and replace them with a custom bent pipe. Or you could do this all yourself. Basically, all you're doing is having an exhaust shop or yourself make a catback exhaust for your car, which typically will be cheaper than buying one.
pro tip.
Ask them to upsize the new pipe by about half an inch. For instance, if your stock exhaust is 2.5 inches, bump the new pipe up to 3 inches. You'll get a deeper tone without going full trumpet mode. Now, let's talk about something for all you with the snails underneath the hoods. I'm talking about you with turbo cars. Running a straight pipe is perfectly fine on a turboed vehicle. You might be wondering,
Why is that, Ricky?
well, that's because the turbo kind of acts as a muffler in a way. It absorbs the exhaust sounds as the turbo spools up, significantly reducing the exhaust noise. So if you go for a straight pipe exhaust with some quality headers, you'll actually make your turboed car sound pretty sick. Number 5, big wings and spoilers. Oh, so you have an exotic car?
No?
A sweet JDM drift machine?
No?
A track car in dire need of downforce?
No?
Then why on earth do you have a massive spoiler on your stock car? I know you want your ride to mimic a GT3 RS or a rad Tamatak Evo, but let's be honest,
It ain't.
big spoilers are earned, my friends. You can't just slap one on and expect it to go faster. In fact, you might be slowing yourself down. Adding a huge spoiler to a stock daily driven car is like sticking a snorkel on a toaster. It's about as useful as putting a spoiler on a stock daily driver. Your toast won't be any crispier and your car won't be any faster. Just don't do it. And for those of you thinking,
But drift cars have them?
do you have a full-on JDM drift machine complete with a body kit, 3-piece wheels, and a sponsor-laden livery, and the skills to link a drift track? I didn't think so. And if you do, make sure to tag Skidded Media with a high-quality shot of you tearing up the track for a chance to be featured on our Skidder of the Month homepage post on skiddedmedia.com, as well as score a Skidded Media t-shirt. Also, contrary to what some people think, big spoilers are more than just style for drift cars. They provide stability during drifts, downforce for high-speed drifts, and extra space for branding if you're sponsored or have a sweet livery. And honestly, if you can link a track in your drift car, you've earned the big wing achievement in my books. So those are my top 5 car mods you should steer clear of. Tell me in the comments what car mods you think should be on this list. And if you dug today's video, hit that subscribe button to help the car community thrive with Skidded Media. I know I kind of went on a rant today, but modifying cars is an art and should be done with thoughtfulness and consideration towards the car's aesthetic. So if you're interested in learning how to modify your car, make sure to stay tuned for our How to Modify Your Car video, where we will break down how you should mod your car in the right way. Thank you guys again for all your support. Stay
Sick tight.